All right, welcome back to Sidewalks Entertainment. Today on the show, we want to help raise awareness for bullying prevention. The issue of bullying is something no kid or person should have to go through. And our guest today is bullying prevention expert, researcher, and psychologist and parent who wants to put a stop to bullying. I'd like to welcome Dr. Tia Kim to Sidewalks. Tia, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me and letting me talk about such an important topic.
It sure is. I mean, when I saw this come out, I was like, oh my gosh, we have to make sure we raise awareness around this, because this is something that's been happening a lot. And I just actually wanted to start by talking a little bit about your career first, before we get into it, and how your path led you to taking action to helping children and youth.
Yeah, so I'm trained as a developmental psychologist, and my focus in my research has always been about how can we think about improving outcomes for children and youth, and what are the best strategies based on research that we could use to prevent problem behavior. And so that, I think, leads me to thinking about bullying prevention and what are some really good research-based strategies to be able to stop this behavior from happening.
Right. Well, Tia, it's interesting because I read on the release that 7 out of 10 children regularly witness bullying in schools, and about 50% of minority youth have witnessed racially motivated cyberbullying. I mean, that's a crazy statistic, like that this is even happening.
Yeah, and I would say that, almost 40% of kids actually experience being bullied online or in digital media. So I definitely think that those are important statistics to think about. And when we think
Yeah.
about racially motivated bullying, those numbers are also very high. And so definitely thinking about prevention is key.
And it's interesting because, I mean, as an adult and seeing kids on social media and the mental health issues that surrounding being on social media and seeing that this bullying is happening is just, it's just heartbreaking to hear this. And I just wanted to ask you, can you maybe share maybe some ways for parents to help navigate, personal discomfort when talking to kids about bullying?
Yeah, I know. I think there are oftentimes topics that are difficult for families to have conversations with kids around. And that's really why we developed our Captain Compassion comics. It's really a fun and engaging, kind of light way to bring up a really important topic with kids. But I do think it's really important for families to start to have these conversations and to teach really important skills around bullying prevention.
Right. I wanted to mention that, that you guys are teaming up with the Committee for Children to prevent bullying with the hero Captain Compassion. This is new to me. I'd never heard of this. So can you tell me a little bit more about Captain Compassion?
Sure. At Committee for Children, we started our Captain Compassion campaign that kicks off in October, which coincides with National Bullying Prevention Month. And then within the campaign, we have a comic series that stars Kid Kinder, who's the main character. And Kid Kinder has been witnessing racially motivated bullying, and he's conflicted. He really wants to intervene and do something, but he's not quite sure the right way to do that. So he taps into finding support through his superhero friend, Captain Compassion, who teaches them all about the importance of being a good upstander and to intervene, and teaches them skills around how to do that. And that's really what the comic is about. And again, it's a fun and engaging way to get kids to understand how to help in bullying prevention.
Captain Compassion and Kid Kinder are back to continue the important work of bullying prevention. Research shows that any child connected with bullying, those who experience it, engage in it, and even witness it, can suffer long-term mental health consequences. But you and the kids in your life have the power to help. When upstanders intervene, it can reduce bullying by more than 50%. Committee for Children created the Captain Compassion comics to help families and educators talk to kids about bullying and to empower kids and adults to be effective upstanders. Visit CaptainCompassion.org to find engaging research-based tips and tools, the full Captain Compassion comic series, and additional resources to help address bullying.
Yeah, no, and that's great because I think that's the best way to kind of communicate and spread the message to children because, you need something fun and engaging that will allow them to understand, what's happening. And I think that's such a creative way to do that. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sidewalks Entertainment. If you're just tuning in, we've been talking about bullying prevention. And here's the rest of our interview with Dr. Tia Kim. How can parents recognize the signs of bullying and how to prevent it?
Yeah, I think it's important for families to understand that every kid is different. And so whether they are being the bully or being the victim of bully, that their symptoms or characteristics might manifest itself very differently. So, every family knows their child the best. And so I think it's important to look out for any big or major changes in behavior or attitude. And then I think importantly, it's to really talk about prevention. And, one way I really like to think about it is for us to teach kids the 3 R's of bullying prevention. And that one is to teach kids how to recognize when it's happening around them or to them. And then 2, how to refuse the behavior. And particularly, this is where being a good upstander comes into play, because when we know through research that if kids intervene, you can reduce bullying incidents by almost 50%, which is really large. And then 3, to
Wow.
report the behavior if it's happening to them or to someone near them. I think those are really important key strategies to teach kids.
Yeah, and speaking of, kids, like what is the youngest that you've heard, of kids being bullied? And, this carries on, it sounds like, until they're adult if this is happening. Like what is the youngest that you've heard of bullying for
Yeah.
kids?
Yeah, I definitely think it can start in elementary school. And then I think as they get older into, middle school, for instance, it becomes a little bit more complex because a lot of them are online and in social media or online gaming where that can also happen as well. So um, for prevention, it's never too early, in my opinion, to start having these conversations.
Right. And for you having, gone through this and, you're a researcher and psychologist, like, kind of what are the long-term effects of bullying for some of these kids that do go through this?
Yeah, there are negative long-term effects for victims of bullying, such as depression, anxiety, substance use. But what might be surprising to some folks is that bullying actually impacts everyone that's involved in it, not just the victims. So actually, those who are doing the bullying can have negative long-term effects as well. And also, those kids that are witnessing it can actually have negative outcomes as well. And so we know that witnessing bullying, a large majority of kids witness it. And so that's why prevention is so important, because it can really impact negatively everyone that's involved in it.
That's right. That's so true. Well, Dr. Tia Kim, thank you so much for joining us and spreading this message. Is there anything else that you would like to share to help raise awareness about this topic?
Yeah, I would just encourage folks to check out our free resources that are good for both educators and families at captaincompassion.org. It's also where they can find the comic series. And then also for kids that are interested, if they're reading the comics, there's also a secret decoder wheel challenge. All really great information on captaincompassion.org.
Right on. That sounds wonderful. Thank you so much, Tia, for joining us today. And thank you for doing what you do and helping kids out there. This is, we need you as a hero as well. So I feel like you're a superhero in this as well.
Thank you so much for having me.
For more full-length celebrity interviews, visit sidewalkstv.com.